Now, TopHatGamingMan says in the video that he's the kind of guy that plans ahead. Plans ahead? His YouTube channel took off, and he was a teacher, but he decided financially it would make more sense for him to upload videos because he made more money. Okay, I get that. He made more money with the videos than he did teaching. And then he said something about renting out some rooms, I think. But then there's a pandemic clause in it. Imagine that, a pandemic clause. So he can't rent out rooms or something to that extent. I would say this. To him, I understand, since he doesn't see Patreon as there being anything wrong with Patreon. He doesn't. I do. I would never have a Patreon. So again, we're not going to go into that. But the question is it acceptable in this time right now to push something like a Patreon? Because admittedly in the past, I've always suggested to people, a content creator, maybe they quit their job, but then their channel doesn't do as good, but then they lean on their subscribers. They say they're introducing a Patreon, you know, to improve the channel, but if they're being honest, it's because they just want more money. Because there's no guarantee that the money goes directly into the creation of content. Like if you buy something like a t-shirt, and if Top Hat Gaming Man has t-shirts, I would say try to push those t-shirts, man. Push those t-shirts, all right? It's an actual tangible item people can buy. You got hats, you got your mugs. Hey, push them, as long as they're not terribly overpriced. He needs money. He needs money because he can't go back to teaching. That's not the man's fault. It is not the man's fault. Maybe he would go back to teaching if something happened on YouTube. Maybe, possibly, all right? So there's an argument there, all right? I don't know much about this Top Hat Gaming Man. John Hancock, Metal Jesus, yeah, I know them pretty well, but I don't know a lot about this Top Hat Gaming Man. People ask me, hey, check out this video, tell us what you think, and I'll honestly tell you all what I think. I think it's kind of shitty that we're going through this and a lot of people can't go back to work. Teachers cannot go back to work, so that option is off the table. So we're to believe he's in a situation right now that he needs more money. So he needs to lean on Patreon. He needs to push Patreon. He's asking people, hey, what else can I do to make it more beneficial for people on Patreon? Yeah. Like I said, unless there's any tangible items you're offering people, I think it's a shit value. I mean, paying somebody to upload YouTube hobby videos, that's fucking stupid. I'll always think that's fucking stupid. But you know what? If you want to support the guy, you want to buy a t-shirt or a mug or something tangible, an actual item, you want to rock your shirt and go around, you know, pointing to it, hey, I'm a fan of the Top Hat Gaming Man. Look at this nice shirt. I think there's nothing wrong with that. But when it gets to the point you start asking people for fucking nothing for hobby YouTube videos, you think that's worth money, and people that donate money think it's worth money, I just think it's stupid. I think it's stupid, especially during this time. I get it. You know, maybe I hope it's not an act. Maybe he's actually sad and this time kind of sucks. But you think to yourself, if you were a fan of you, what would your recommendation be? What would you be telling them to do? Me, if anybody got on here, let's say something happened with me in this channel. All right, going through my comment section, who comes here normally? Shelf Warmer, Blade Brown. And let's say I wanted to be honest and open and I said, you know what? Things are kind of rougher on YouTube. You know, ad revenue is not like it was definitely fourth quarter last year. I mean, honestly, you know, I have ads on the channel. I'll be honest with you all. It's not like it was, but I look at it like, oh, okay, I'm making a few dollars less in ad revenue today. I'll just work more. Or maybe I'll do some things, or maybe I'll sell some things. The thought never crossed my fucking mind to lean on Shelf Warmer, Fragtaster, or, you know, introduce a Patreon. Okay, the thought never crossed my mind. If I was making nothing every day, it still would not happen. Patreon would not happen because I made a choice that I don't want to fucking e-bag. All right? It's what it is. It's e-bagging. Plain and simple. You know, in my mind, in the mind of hopefully most people, they see the act of giving someone money online for uploading hobby YouTube videos people begging for the money openly or hinting at it. That's my whole argument here. It's not the only argument online. I know that. But I think it's a very reasonable argument that I make. Okay, so I hate when people come here and they say, what have people called me before? Psychotic? Insane? Really? Is that insane? You know, I think it leans more to be insane, the idea that someone, like, what was the recent video he did? The Turtle Tournament Fighters? I watched that, Top Hat Gaming Man. I thought it was a pretty good video. You know, I might have even given it a like. But there is no way on God's green earth I would give you $1, $2, $3, $4 for that shit. I wouldn't. I would not. Okay, that's just me, though. And I think it's shitty that you actually think people should give you money for that. My advice to this individual, who, by the way, after uploading those videos, his Patreon numbers have shot up. Imagine that. Imagine that. It was not for the content. It was because he came out with his, let's see, I could say, top hat in hand. I like that. He came out with his top hat in hand, telling everybody they need to donate to his Patreon because of the times, because of the corona. Okay? And again, I think it sucks that he can't go back to teaching. He seems like a guy that had a lot of things. He had a lot of plans set. Not going to doubt that. But he made the choice. So you must be criticized for those choices, for leaning on your audience. Your audience that right now are probably going through a lot of the same things that you are. Maybe a lot of them are having trouble finding work. Maybe they're sending you donations. Maybe they don't have jobs right now. So that's one thing that has to be weighing in the back of your mind. You're basically asking for donations. You're asking for donations from people at the same time that they probably could maybe arguably need money themselves. And you're in a position on YouTube to where you have a big following. Guess what you could do? Guess what you could do? Here's a thought. I mean, you're not going to do it, but get rid of the Patreon and just start uploading more content. Doesn't have to be uploads like the Turtle Tournament Fighter. It could just be maybe like a series or a podcast. It could be you just actually talking about things. You seem to be really good at talking about things, all right? You could do that. You wouldn't have to do it any particular way. It could just be talking about things in your day, maybe games that you like, anything. Freaking anything, Top Hat Gaming Man. You could upload 8 or 9 of those a day, right? Just do multiple podcasts and just explain to people, you know, you apologize if this content isn't up to your regular standards, but you want to get something on the YouTube channel to increase your ad revenue so you don't have to beg them for money on Patreon. So you don't have to. That's a thought. And push the merch. Right? For fuck's sake, you know, get with ExpressVPN or all that other stuff that Angry Video Game Nerd does. All that stuff is what you should be doing beyond taking money from your actual audience for your hobby YouTube videos. Okay? People got it flipped around. They got it flipped around. It should be the opposite of what it is. Patreon seems to be the first thing people go for. No, it should be the fucking last thing. The last resort. Top Hat Gaming Man left some comments, some really long comments, I think 2 days ago when I uploaded those videos. And I haven't been able to read them until now. I said I would get back to them, and I am. What I'm going to do now, though, is I'm going to read this in real time and reply in real time. This is a long freaking comment. It's a long 2 comments. I guess I'll read both of them. Jesus. This might take a while. This is a long response as I didn't realize I had so much to say. You might want to grab a cup of tea before you go any further. I'm covered. I got my V8 Splash Berry Blend. I wanted to respond to your video as it popped up in my feed as I watch a lot of your videos due to the fact that I find it interesting to hear views that differ wildly from the popular consensus. Your videos are entertaining and I appreciate your passion and conviction on both your subject matter and your ability to push a consistent message regarding your own ethical and moral values set. I've been watching your videos for years, I believe ever since the MGR moldy basement fiasco when I first stumbled across you. Even though I do not always agree with what you say, I figure your videos have more substance than simple trolling like some people try to write your content off as. This comment I'm writing is for a few reasons. Firstly, to clarify on a few points in your video as they were incorrect, and then I want to discuss a few tropes of your own channel, as unlike yourself, I'm very familiar with your channel as a longtime watcher. Did you see me wash my balls the other day? That was fun. The first point I would like to mention is that I am not renting out rooms in my house. I've let out my whole house, okay? I have a mortgage on a 3-bedroom house which we lived in, and I noticed that with my wife no longer working, that our quality of life was diminishing. So rather than live beyond our means, we let the house out and moved in with my parents on a temporary basis, ideally just for 12 months. The benefit of living with my parents is that I could use the surplus of rent over my mortgage to then pay housekeep to my mother during this transitional period. You then mentioned about this pandemic clause without any actual context. I have used a letting our agent to rent out my house and to provide a fully managed service. They take X amount from my rent each month. I also signed up for them to take more money on the basis I would receive a rental guarantee, so that if my tenants stop paying their rent, which they have at the moment, the agent will continue to pay me the rent and evict the tenants and recover costs through them. I won't go into more detail as it's a total nightmare. The difference between in the UK and the US is that here, the law surrounding the letting of property is heavily weighted in the tenant's favor. Our tenants must be a full 2 months in rental errors before you are allowed to ask them to leave. If they don't leave, you have to go through the courts, which can take a further 6 months, before you can get a court order for them to be evicted. Hence wanting this rental guarantee, as I currently am paying a mortgage on my house for some people to live there scot-free. Damn. Luckily, I've been able to obtain a 3-month mortgage break now, but that only covers half the rent. And with COVID-19, I've been advised by my agent the earliest I can get my house back could currently be around November, even though the tenancy expires in mid-May and we plan to move back as was only meant to be for 12 months. So as you can understand, this is a bit more taxing than not being able to let a few rooms as I'm literally paying for someone else to live in my home for free with no quick way to be able to solve the issue without going to court. As a side note, laws regarding houses of multiple occupants actually prevents UK homeowners having more than one lodger, so letting out some rooms wouldn't be a legal option anyway. The next point you made was whether it was acceptable to push Patreon during this time period. The way I see it is that Netflix are still pushing their online subscription service, Sky R, Disney R, Amazon Prime R. I've been seeing a lot more adverts for YouTube Premium, etc. You get my point. Therefore, if they can push their subscription service, what is the harm in me asking potential patrons what would make them consider supporting me? I wanted to be open and honest because at the time when I made the video, I assumed it wouldn't get hardly any views relative to my channel, as generally my non-documentary videos don't get many views. And further to this, I was panicking as I thought I was going to need to majorly cut back on content and work out what the hell to do next. Like yourself, I like to be transparent with my fan base and let them know things were changing. Just like when you needed to take a break from YouTube yourself a few months ago. In regards to pushing my Patreon in that video, which was a couple of minutes at the end of a long video, I assumed not many people would have even got to that point, and secondly, I never even expected to receive the response that I got. My mindset going in was I would be lucky if I even got another $10 a month. I wish this had been some clever and elaborate plan so that I could take full credit for being an evil genius, but evidently this time just lucked out. Regarding your point that creators claim to use Patreon to improve their channels, for me this would be relevant to when I made the jump to full-time, as I had an extra $300 coming in per month, which helps hugely whilst I was switching things up. Since August, I have gone from one 10-minute video per week to two 20-plus minute videos per week, and this is only possible due to the catalyst that is Patreon. And here we go, it's part 2, the sequel. And no, I'm not going to cut these up and put them on the screen. You can check these out on the video. I'll leave a link to down below if you want to see these actual comments in their entirety on the page or respond to them. After going full-time, I had exponential growth and was earning significantly more ad revenue only 6 weeks after making the switch. I've never made a huge effort to push Patreon except for a few credits at the end of my videos, simply as I didn't feel that I needed to. Further to this, I actually felt that a heavily funded Patreon route would be detrimental to my channel's growth, as I would be appealing to a small paid subscription niche as opposed to videos that get huge views. The plan was always to get such a size that I could have a mostly sponsorship funded channel. That was my business plan, and it appeared to be going accordingly until recently. You mentioned pushing merch. You are right. It's something I should be pushing, but the t-shirt shop I have on my channel is new this week. I have an amazing friend who stepped up and designed merch for me, and now it's on sale. I'll be beginning to push my merch shortly, but this is just a step-by-step situation, as I'm sure you understand. I'm a one-man band with occasional help from my wife. Your point regarding teaching is correct. I absolutely will go back to teaching if YouTube goes titties up, and I spent 3 years getting myself qualified to the highest possible level as a primary school teacher to prepare for such a situation, as I never ever thought that I would earn more as a YouTuber than teaching. I also doubt that YouTube will last forever. The point you made saying that I upload hobby videos, I feel is incorrect. Your videos are hobby videos, mine are not. I work approximately 50 hours per week, oh, here we go, on just my content, and spend even more on top of that communicating with my viewers as well as being a family man. This is my business. I would not work 200 plus hours per month on a hobby. Playing video games is my hobby. Watching wrestling is my hobby. Going to foreign countries is my hobby. Sitting at a desk in a cupboard in a garage, painstakingly editing, researching, writing, recording voice work for 4,000 plus word scripts twice and sometimes 3 times per week is not a hobby. You'd have to expect me to be a total nutter to choose to do this purely for fun. I'm very passionate and I love my job more than anything I've ever done before, but please don't call it a hobby videos because that couldn't be any further from the truth. You mentioned I'm doing nothing to get back to my patrons. If you actually looked at my Patreon page and my public Patreon post, not only am I active on there on a daily basis now, but I've actually changed my channel now to Coordinates. My videos, which you kindly watched and said you thought was alright, was picked up by my patrons. I will be creating additional content on top of my already 50-hour work week. Oh Lord, 50-hour work week. Workload simply to cater to my audience on top of everything else I was already doing prior to COVID-19. I could never ever have expected this kind of response, and it's a huge responsibility and a huge honor. It's as simple as this. Simple as this. If people feel they are getting nothing back from my Patreon, they will leave. That's capitalism. I'm going to do everything I can to uphold my end of the bargain. My biggest problem with your video and biggest criticism of your content in general is this term e-begging, especially regarding British YouTubers. Begging is a criminal offense in the UK. Therefore, if opening a Patreon is begging, then the website would not be accessible in the UK without a VPN. I feel like there should be an ExpressVPN ad here. No? Okay. We'd also be receiving criminal convictions. If you accuse YouTubers of being e-beggars for offering paid content or incentives at a cost, then you have to apply exactly the same logic to big business, i.e. Netflix, Amazon, and anyone who offers non-tangible goods online or even advertisers at all. If you have an issue with anyone, why not the corporations themselves? Let's talk about the WWE Network as an example. They won't let you even access their content unless you pay $10 a month to break their paywall. Then once you've done that, you have to watch adverts anyway, and even more cheekily than that, they actually place paid sponsorships and product placements in their content. So you have to pay them to watch their sponsorships. Surely that's a bigger issue than Patreon. Sky or even worse. I can't even afford Sky, it's so expensive, but my grandmother has it and every other channel has got ads on it. At least I'm offering my patrons all my content for ad-free. Regarding the UK specifically now, under UK law, to even be allowed to watch TV in your house, you had to pay a TV license to the BBC. Surely this is a bigger problem than Patreon. Thank you for reading this. I know I'm not going to be able to persuade you, but being able to speak to you and put forward my views is enough for me. I feel there are more nefarious platforms than Patreon, so why not go after Beeb, Sky, or WWE? I look forward to your response, hopefully, and as ever, will continue to enjoy your content. I hope I didn't come across as a dick. I just have so much to say in response because this whole situation has been consuming my life over the last few months. Stay well, stay safe. Richard, the creator of TopHatGamingMan. Okay, a lot to take in there. A lot. Okay. So I do appreciate the fact that you left me a lot of text there. Put a lot of time into that right there. Right off the bat, you talk about Netflix. You talk about Amazon. You talk about WWE and their subscription models. Okay, I get it. That's an argument right there. I guess there's a bar. I'll look at it like this. There's a lot of content creators here on YouTube that do upload great content. They put a lot of time, a lot of effort into their comment. I just feel that they're hobby videos. In almost every instance, I just feel that they are hobby videos. Now, can they be high quality? Yes. But just as baseline, I see them as hobbyist videos. Well, I mean, I could go into that a little bit more. I might come back to that in a second, but you make this comparison to your channel, to Amazon, to Netflix. I think that is absolutely laughable, all right? I mean, you don't have a bad channel. I enjoyed the Turtle Tournament Fighter upload, but I don't know, man. Like, that just kind of stuck out of this comment to me. Like, there's many channels before. I think Game Chasers is one where I just get the feeling like they feel that their channels, what was it, Metal Jesus that said something about the Game Chasers? I think he was defending their Patreon saying, well, you know, it's pretty much like, I can't bring the Metal Jesus voice because I can't remember what he said about it, but I remember years ago he was defending it, okay? Netflix is Netflix. I can watch entire seasons of incredibly high quality series. I can watch a lot of movies. And you look at the pricing, and we're just going to look at common sense here, because I get the argument. Okay? You're not Netflix. You aren't. I'm sorry. You're not, all right? I don't know about your Patreon tiers. I'm not sure about the pricing on the tiers, but there is no way you are going to offer what Netflix does every month for under $10, all right? So it's really silly for people to make the argument, or YouTubers to make that argument. No, it's not. Same thing with WWE. The minute I can go through tons and tons of series and Raws and SmackDowns and everything like that, it comes down to value and really what you're getting. So again, there's a bar. I get it. I get a lot of people that maybe criticize me on that. I get that you can make an argument even against those subscription models, but it really comes to value for what you're getting. That's not a tangible good. I get it. Netflix is not a tangible good, but it's all about the bar. Okay? It's all about the bar. Tell you what, this right here is going to be a good stopping point right now. I got some things I have to go to attend to, but I have clipped this comment, saved it in my master folder. I might revisit a lot of the things you bring up for discussion in the future. Okay? I promise I'll get back to it. But what do y'all think about what we discussed right now? And give me some of your thoughts on his two-part essay comments. Okay? Sure, it's a month later, but I am fulfilling my obligation. I put a part 1 at the end of my response to TopHatGamingMan's essay comments part 1. The bar, see, it said part 1, and I was going to do a part 2, but I got behind, so my bad on that. In part 1, the bar, I explained how, well, he talked about how his channel, he equated his channel to Netflix, and he said if it is ethical for there to be a Netflix out here, a WWE out here, charging a subscription model a month, what's the problem with him charging a subscription model? And I'll leave a link to that at the end of this in the outro if you want to check that out, my response, which was the bar. And I talked about how there is a bar, you know. Like, for instance, I just finished watching The Ozarks, and it's fucking amazing show, by the way, on Netflix. There's nothing of that level that I'm ever going to find on any YouTuber's Patreon. It's just not. So, yeah, the bar, that's the bar, okay? I can guarantee you there's no YouTube channel. And I'm not saying that TopHatGamingMan's videos are not good. I think they're good. But they are in no way going to reach the bar of something like Netflix. And even making that comment, equating yourself to Netflix, this is kind of weird, I think. But a lot of YouTubers do it, and I understand it. I mean, from a business perspective. And he admits in that comment that his channel is a business, which is a good thing, right? So I'm happy he admitted that it is a business. It's his business. Yeah. So for business, I would see how you would want to equate yourself to something that like Netflix, but it still seems kind of fucking silly to me. I made some notes here. I reread that comment. Message, ethical, and moral value set. Oh, you talked about how he admires that I stick to a message. I have an ethical and moral value set when it comes to YouTube. And he said I do stay consistent. So thank you for those kind of words there. Is it ethical to push Patreon during this time period was one thing he brought up. He thinks there's nothing wrong with it. I firmly disagree with that. I think of all the times to push a Patreon, this is really kind of one of the scummiest times to really push your Patreon. It is. Of all times, this time right now, and a lot of channels, a lot of YouTubers are doing this right now, they don't feel good. What's the one guy? Beard dude, completionist? Which I think your video was partly inspired by his. And if you want to know how I feel about his video, I'll leave a link to that at the end of this also. You might check that out too. And felt my criticism coming for yours. And I think I said yesterday or the day before, just because YouTubers are getting a little less in ad revenue right now, doesn't mean we need to start pushing the Patreon. Okay? It just upload twice as much. Okay? And I think your fans, Top Hat, would not mind if you uploaded more to your channel. I know maybe it takes some time to do the videos that you normally do, the documentary types, but maybe, you start a podcast, something like that, just talking about random things. That's an option right there. Let's see here. Both like to be transparent, you said. Here's one problem I got. A lot of people, not just a couple, but a lot of people came by and they told me that they have been shadow banned on your channel. Yeah, that's not good, man. Okay? Like I said, unless they're just leaving the worst, most hateful type of comments to you. And even then, I would just give them a warning and say, hey, you know what? Don't be as vulgar or whatever. You give people warnings is what I'm saying, all right? There's a process, but I feel both on that and maybe social media, I'm not sure. You've done a lot of that. So as far as being transparent, I'm transparent. I think you have a little work to do as far as the transparency in that regard. You said months ago I needed to take a break, and you linked that to the transparency. Well, it was a little bit different situation. Some people, they need to take a break, and admittedly, okay, it was nice, it was refreshing. I might do that again in the future, not as long, of course, but it's nice to get a break from something like YouTube every now and then. In my instance, though, it wasn't just I needed to take a break. It's that my entire channel was under attack, and I was one strike away from, going away. So I just, I laid low. I even made a video saying goodbye to everybody because I didn't know what was going to happen. But yeah, so the way you worded that, I just kind of I laughed a little bit at that. You said I needed to take a break. No, not exactly. Pushing merch. Your idea, you said, was for your channel to be completely sponsorship funded, and you wanted to, push merch, but that didn't pan out. Here's the thing. I don't like shilling. I don't like sponsorships, but for getting back to good, for a channel like yours, I would say if you really made a push on the merch and you brought on a lot of sponsors, hey, Display, they're doing a lot of stuff. If you brought a lot of that on and just explain to your audience that, hey, you don't want to take any of their money, right? Maybe you feel bad one day and you're like, you don't want to take any of their money for your, okay, I won't say their hobby videos, your YouTube uploads. And you explain to people, I want to push a lot of sponsors because I don't want to have the Patreon and I want to be funded by the sponsors. Okay, in that instance, I would say that would be a great thing, So yeah, a lot of people out there. I don't like sponsorships. I don't like the shaver shit and the ExpressVPN, and I don't like the Raid Shadow Legends. But if it's a channel trying to get back to good, which again, from my moral and ethical value set, okay, not everybody feels the same way. But if you're trying to get back to good, then I'd be completely 100% on board. And I wouldn't give you a whole lot of shit because I would be like, hey, this guy dropped his Patreon, and he's sponsorship funded, right? I still might, take a couple cracks at you for all the sponsorship, but not as much because of it. Like, hey, this guy's trying to get on the path to good. Okay, so there's certain situations, and maybe that's an idea. Maybe you go to channels and you say, you know what, we don't like the Patreon. Young Ye, the $200 Patreon tier, dude, just do more sponsorships. Okay, the last resort, the very last resort, should be taking money from your own audience in a membership method, subscription method, not just taking money once, but every single freaking month. You ain't Netflix, son. You ain't Netflix. What else? We both also agree we doubt YouTube would last forever. Okay, so we have some agreements here. We have some disagreements and agreements here. You talk about your 50-hour work week and the heavy workload. Okay. Hard-working guy there, uploading your YouTube videos. I get it. Yep. Hard-working Top Hat. Oh, some nice videos, by the way. I do like some of your videos, but yeah, that 50-hour work week. Oh, man. Terrible. See, I could say something there, but I'm trying to be nice. Biggest criticism of me is the term e-begging. That's the thing. E-begging is I have a love-hate now, looking back, with the term e-begging. I have a love-hate relationship with it. Like, I get it. I understand it. I mean, people come by here and they ask me, like, what is it? What is the term? Me and Kenny sit down and we talked about it last year. And I guess there's maybe better ways to word it that aren't as, hurtful to people. I understand it is a hurtful term. A lot of people say, it's the term, and they get so sad. And you said where you're from, e-begging is considered a crime? Okay. It's a general term that people understand. And in the future, maybe I'll help pioneer a different way of saying it. But you got to understand, you think about the DSPs of the world and people say, okay, that's an e-beggar. People think about Review Tech USA, and that's an e-beggar. What do these two people do? Okay? And you might do it classier than they do, but they accept money, large sums of money from people on the internet for uploading YouTube videos. I mean, the line kind of blurs with me, and I'm going to come right out and say that your channel is better than DSP Gaming and better than Review Tech USA. But it's really the method. And I talked about, what was it? I need to re-upload and bring that back because there's a very important video I made last year. Do you remember the DSP rule? And I had a picture of the gaming historian on there. No, I had a picture of DSP and he was wearing fancy glasses. Okay, and it was the DSP rule. I'm not going to spoil that. I'm going to redo that in a radical rewind, okay? Because that was a really important video from last year. I had a lot of great ones from last year that I'll eventually get back to and repurpose. That goes back to, my little break away. My break from YouTube is I had to basically unlist or delete a lot of those uploads months ago. So if you wonder where a lot of these uploads are, you remember Con Men? That was a classic. I'm trying to slowly rework these if possible and upload them at some point this year, maybe into 2021, just depending. I lost my place. Sorry about that. Oh, yeah, the term e-begging. Yeah, not everyone agrees with me on that, and that's okay. I don't need everyone to come here and be a yes man to me on the channel. You're going to agree with me. You're going to disagree with me. You're going to come by and tell me, hey, you know what? We think this person is an e-beggar, but this person is not. And then I'll sit back, I'll lean back, and I'll be like, oh, you do you? But yeah, not everyone agrees on it, and that's okay. And I get your criticism of me referring to a lot of people as e-beggars you don't think are, and you don't like the term. So I get where you're coming from, but yeah, I don't know what to say to you. I mean, what do y'all think? Do you all think TopHatGamingMan is an e-beggar? Do you think he fits the qualifications, the criteria? Do you? Leave it in the comment section down below. You all tell me, right? Mm-hmm. And you said there's more nefarious things out there than Patreon. Well, yes, definitely there are. There are. But again, like you're pointing to other things, you're pointing away from yourself and you're pointing to other things. Of course, there's things worse than Patreon. But when it comes to YouTube and the things that I can directly kind of speak on and I feel comfortable speaking on, yeah, there's a lot of things out there that are terrible in the world, but not everyone. I mean, not everything I can really speak on as well as I can, e-begging, right? And again, we might disagree on what that is. I'm passionate against that. I'm a passionate person that I don't think your own subscribers should give you any money on this platform for your hobby videos. And that's one thing you also said. You said, my videos, my uploads are hobby videos, and yours are not. Yours are professional videos because you're a professional YouTuber. Now, I get that because your videos, I will say, there's a lot more time that goes into your videos on the whole, I would say, than my own. I mean, for Christ's sake, this is me talking over a static image in the background. I get that, I understand that. But if things changed here, and let's say I wasn't working and I was just a full-time YouTuber, okay, if it was my job to just, get on here for 8-9 hours a day and put every single thing I had into this, then I guarantee you, Top Hat, it would be a much different channel. Okay, it would either be, I would probably do the kind of videos, maybe not specifically documentary type. I would get a lot of the fancy editing software and the stuff that a lot of you guys have. Okay, it would get there eventually. I'm a handy kind of guy. It would either be that, or it would be maybe 9-10 uploads a day of just commentary, something like that. And then me uploading, nice gameplay, clipping comments. There's nothing incredibly difficult about what I do here, the process. But when it comes to actually the time investment, sometimes, going through your entire channel's comments, clipping them, even this right here, it's kind of like a mental investment, right? But it's not fancy, I get it. So I get where you're coming from, but there's as many people out here that will just actually come to my channel. Well, not as many, I'm sure, but there are people will come to this comment section and they'll say, you know what, Rick, when it comes to quality commentary, I've never come across a channel that has, that does whatever you do, has your particular brand of humor. People will come by and they'll tell me that, you're my favorite channel. And it was weird at first, right? I think Ducky might have been one of the first ones. And that was in 2018. Hope you're still around, Ducky. And he said that I'm his favorite YouTuber. And I sit back in my chair and I'm like, damn, I'm someone's favorite YouTuber. And then someone else stopped by, and then someone else stopped by. And I thought to myself, well, all I do is pretty much talk about things. I'm not doing any of these fancy, super documentary videos. But then I get it. I understand it because people are like, sometimes we just want to listen to somebody. Maybe we got a busy day. Maybe we just want to drive on the way to work. We can't watch something, and we just want to listen to something. So when it comes to the audio portion of YouTube, I can say in confidence I'm probably one of the better commentary channels on all of YouTube. I could say that with confidence. And part of the reason I got to where I am is because I have a lot of great people that came by the channel that have inspired me to go forward. People that leave amazing comments, and I said, well, I'm not going to give you the entire history of the channel or where I am right now from where I came from. But, yeah, I think we'll leave it there. What was this, like maybe 15 minutes? Yeah. And I don't have the time to be a professional YouTuber and to cut and edit this. There's probably a couple minutes here I could have probably cut out, but I don't have that time right now. But yeah, no hard feelings there. TopHatGamingMan. You came here and you left me a comment, and I left you a response to it. I think this is all I have time to upload tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. And if I pissed a lot of you off, it took me a month to upload part 2. I understand it. In the future, I'll try not to put part 1 on anything if I don't have a part 2 or a 3 planned. Thank you so much. So I was directed over to the TopHatGamingMan Twitter account. This guy tweets quite a bit. And I think it's for this tweet. Is this the one? Today I got a new $20 Patreon simply due to someone else online uploading an anti-Patreon video lecturing others on how they should be spending their money. Massive thank you to that backer. Stay radical, guys. Well, I have a lot to say about that, but I'm not going to really focus on that right now. We're going to get to some other tweets. I think there's another tweet, something about... Where is it? My apologies, there might be a... Because the guy tweets a lot. Okay, here it is. He says, I really should stop feeding the trolls, stay radical. The fact of the matter is, there are some people on this channel, probably, that people would consider trolls. Okay, I can't... Like, what can you do? Like, tell me, TopHatGamingMan, what can you do? I mean, they're just there. There's some people that are here that are going to go to other channels and be fucking trolls. But the vast majority of people that come to this channel are going to go to other channels and try to ask questions of YouTubers that they have trouble answering. But yes, there are some trolls that probably go around to other channels. I really can't affect this other than saying, if you're going to be trolls, you know, don't troll. All right? But then again, you would probably call any critics of yours trolls. We've been down this fucking road before. It's annoying to me at this point. It is. What also is annoying is people not understanding about comment of the week or previously comment of the day. There are some people that won gold medals for comment of the day that I don't even really talk to anymore. People that have revealed themselves to be shitty people. But you know what? Within the context of comment of the day in 2019 and the comment of the week right now, I don't make it my business to go into the personal lives and to check the records and history of every single person that leaves a comment on my channel. I do not have the time. I do not have private investigators, TopHatGamingMan. So maybe a couple trolls might possibly win a medal. I do not fucking know. Maybe some questionable people that leave questionable comments on other channels could win a gold medal. All right? So what the fuck am I supposed to do? I need some input here. What the fuck am I supposed to do? If somebody comes to this channel and leaves an amazing comment, a comment that has a lot of great points, it's written well, you know, what do you do? If you do not like the person or you don't like some comments they leave on some other channels, I'm asking everybody, what do I do? Are they no longer in contention? TopHatGamingMan, I'm pretty sure you have some patrons that really are not good spending, you know, with spending their money. You bring up, I tell people how they should spend their money. You damn fucking right I do. It's goddamn stupid for someone to take a $20 bill and give you $20 bill for your YouTube hobby videos. All right? Oh, is that a trollish comment? Are you going to call me a fucking troll too? I think that's stupid. I think you probably, deep down, probably think it's stupid too, but you won't admit it. Not just 1 month, every single month. Why shouldn't these people maybe go spend that money on a video game? Or better yet, fucking Netflix, a Netflix subscription. You twat. You are not Netflix. See, now you're probably gonna say, well, there's gonna be trolls coming to my channel. Okay, where do we draw the line here? Okay, if someone comes to your channel saying, well, I agree with what Radical Rick said about you, is that person automatically a troll because they don't agree with you? That you fucking deserve, you know, money each month for your YouTube hobby videos from your audience? That you deserve more than the views and the likes and the subscriptions? I don't think we do, TopHatGamingMan. I don't think we do. It's time for a shotgun twist. This ends in a way that a lot of you probably won't expect, all right? You might appreciate this, TopHatGamingMan. You might appreciate this. To show that I am a fair and objective individual. Okay, how about this? How about this? This is the bone I'll throw you. You had a tweet saying, had the same idiot in my comment section before, at least his behavior is evident across the platform. And then it links to a video from someone called Detective Jared 2. Thanks for the insight, random dude who has no idea what's going on in my life. This same person who got the recent gold medal leaves a comment with some questionable things to a YouTuber, okay? You know, Dario Plays, I believe. And I haven't seen the upload yet, But this person is obviously, they are convinced. What is your wording here? You said, what's more, YouTuber Radical Rick clicks on any video titled channel update and he'll feast on this one if he sees it. So you're worried that I will do one of my professional critical satire uploads on a YouTube video, which is what I have always done. You're worried I will feast on it. So you're worried. What, it's because this is a female? Okay, might be a rough head here. I checked that upload out, and I don't see, Winged Avenger, why you thought I would feast on that. Okay, it's clearly somebody that seems to be just sharing some personal things. You know, yeah, there is a Patreon link, but you know, unlike someone like TopHatGamingMan, I don't sense anything shady. I really don't. Okay, I might be wrong, but I don't. Do people just think that I see any kind of upload that says Patreon channel update and I feast on it? Is that what people think? You should all know by now that I respond in kind, considering the YouTuber, considering the video, considering the situation, considering the history I have with the YouTubers. Meaning if it was maybe a Radical Reggie update, you know, or a Metal Jesus update, and they had a Patreon update, I would respond in a different way than, you know, this individual right here, who seems to be just, you know, having some problems and sharing something on a YouTube video. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I don't like the fact that, you know, there's a Patreon thing attached to it, but I respond in kind. Now, TopHatGamingMan said, had the same idiot in my comment section before, at least his behavior is evident across the platform. Now, there's two sides to every single story, okay? This person was the gold medalist, and they made some really good points about TopHatGamingMan a lot of people agreed with. And I think the practice of deleting people off your channel for just leaving simple criticism is not a good thing. But what passes the line between criticism and harassment? I think the Winged Avenger gets dangerously close in this comment, which I can't see all of. Okay, it's no longer on that channel, and TopHatGamingMan, you know, reveals it here. He gets dangerously close in this comment to, I think, maybe a little bit of harassment. And this person may or may not agree. Okay? I'll leave it here for a lot of people to make your own determinations. We're always trying to make a determination on what is critical satire, what is harassment, you know, and that comes up a whole lot here. Some people might say, hey, the comments you made about TopHatGamingMan, that can be considered harassment. Okay, fair enough. But also, fuck anyone on YouTube like TopHatGamingMan who thinks they deserve $20 of Patreon money each month from their audience. I mean, just in general, fuck everybody who thinks they deserve that. I'm sorry, you don't deserve that. Is that a shocking comment for people to hear? Okay, that's just how I feel. I don't feel that we deserve $20 in donations each month. I don't feel that we deserve that. Is that such a shocking view? I don't think it is. I think it's about fucking time more people like me got on YouTube and actually spoke against things like Patreon. And spoke against, here's how we're going to finish it, emotional manipulation. Let's go back to a current tweet from TopHatGamingMan here. Let's see, where is it? This was the pin. He pinned this one. That's why it's important. I posted this publicly on Patreon so you can all have a read and be updated with what the latest is for TopHatGamingMan channel. I am beyond thankful and overwhelmed with emotion for the support you've all shown me and aided me with. Thank you. What did I bring up, TopHatGamingMan? Emotional manipulation? Weaponizing sympathy? Alright, someone left a comment also, hey, no one put a gun to anyone's head and, you know, forced them to become a patron. And I said, well, the gun is sympathy, right? You might not like that. Is that trollish behavior? Or am I just calling it as I fucking see it, okay? If it's a business, if it's a tip jar, then why all the fucking emotional manipulation? Why all this? You're overwhelmed with emotion. Yeah, a lot to discuss here. Like I said, I just kind of wanted to go over a lot of things. I have a lot to talk about on many things I mentioned here. So yeah, everyone come by, leave me your thoughts. Top Hat, Winged Avenger, the girl from that channel, everybody, let's just have a big melting pot. Let's have a discussion in the comment section on this open discussion channel. Okay? I went over to TopHatGamingMan's Twitter feed, and apparently there was some kind of a tweet directed at me with Batman, some kind of meme or whatever about sympathy donations, and he didn't agree with my summation of his Patreon video from several months back. Okay, I get it. You're a little bit angry about that. You don't agree with, my thoughts. But it's my thoughts. Hey, what the fuck are you gonna do, right? And there's this idea that you are not sympathetically trying to get people to donate money to you when you upload a YouTube video talking about your problems in life. I forget what it was titled, but it was kind of like the completionist video, all right? So if people ask me, hey, what YouTuber that has a Patreon, well, I'm always not going to like the idea that people are giving money to YouTubers, but if there's any YouTuber that maybe doesn't do it that bad or sets himself up as an example for others to kind of follow that have a Patreon, I don't know, maybe Jim Sterling? Because I just don't see any videos, I hate feeling like this from Jim Sterling, talking about his personal problems and everything like that. You can have your cake and eat it too. Okay? Jim Sterling, for what it's worth, he kind of runs his channel to be a professional critic. The Patreon's in the background. Okay? From what I know, from what I see. Whereas, Toppy, what you did was kind of like trying to get sympathy donations on the down low. Maybe not directly, but yeah, it kind of was. And I could see how you're kind of a little bit angry about that. And that's why you make all your tweets about me. Now, I haven't even started to dig. All right, Toppy? All right. With the Metal Jesus crew, I usually got my shovel out. But with you, I haven't. All right? Until now. I did a search for TopHatGamingMan, and you know what came up? Something called Atrocious YouTubers Wikipedia. All right? So I'll leave this link down below. And it says, TopHatGamingMan is a British gaming YouTuber that talks about retro games and the creator of Is This Console Worth Playing Today videos. Now, why is atrocious? He uses sexy clickbait thumbnails. One of them is Princess Peach showing her legs, and other features her in a bikini and a swimming ring. I remember this. I remember from years ago, I couldn't remember which YouTuber it was, but you would actually have these clickbait thumbnails with attractive females, and the attractive females had absolutely fuck all, nothing to do with the videos. So, that's clickbait on a level, I think, far beyond even Dreamcast guy. Yeah, there's one with Chun-Li, Rika, with the bra coming off. Yeah, it's kind of scummy. That's kind of, yeah, why? If it's one thing, if it's about, like, a attractive female, but you would just have them just to get views. Okay. He steals footage from other YouTubers, either without crediting them or claiming as his? The fuck, man, really? One of his thumbnails is a screenshot of another YouTube video called Racist Mario. He is biased and opinionated. Well, nothing wrong with that, being opinionated. I'm pretty opinionated. He makes a lot of anti-Nintendo videos to the point of bashing Nintendo fans. Again, some Nintendo fans are just kind of nuts, admittedly, right? So 3 and 4, that's kind of petty there. 5, he deletes comments to hide the truth. He damn sure does that. A lot of you come by and you told me that right there. 6, he blames WatchMojo.com for stealing Slope's game room slogan, a complete history of I don't know anything about that. 7, he even steals art from artists as well. Let's see. One of the users discovered that some of his NSFW thumbnails are from Rule 34, DeviantArt, and Pinterest. He says WatchMojo steals without crediting, even though he steals without crediting, making him a hypocrite. Redeeming qualities. His videos are nicely made, and his videos are informative. Okay? So, yeah, it's nice here because there's wise, atrocious, and redeeming qualities. At no point did I say that the man doesn't have nice YouTube uploads. All right? So, for any of you trying to classify me or anyone from his channel coming here to classify me as a hater, I'm not. I'm fair and I'm objective. But it's interesting to have this little sidebar. Gender, male, type, footage stealing, hypocrite, sexy clickbaiter. Yeah, so check this out. Atrocious YouTubers.